Hi, my name is Joe, and I'm a buildaholic. Oh, please, YouTube, take pity on me. I just can't help myself. I've fallen in love with UNRAID. I really have. I really like UNRAID. The more I use it, the more I like it. And that seems to be the trend. You can love it or leave it the way they do their hard drives, their RAID array. I like it. It's okay. I've tested it. I'm quite satisfied with it. But you know what people use UNRAID for is because of the flexibility of running virtual machines on there. If you've ever seen Space Invader 1's videos, he does exclusive UNRAID videos. And he makes the things sing. The things that UNRAID can do are just, they kind of boggle my mind. That's why I'm so into UNRAID at this time. So what this video is about is the saga to get the perfect housing or the perfect setting for UNRAID. My goal with UNRAID is to use it on my bench because it's so flexible. So we've settled on a standard. We're using that Gigabyte i7 motherboard. We're using the i7 3770 processor. We've got about 24 gig of RAM on the thing. We've got 4 hard drives in it. In fact, I'll tell you about the saga of moving the hard drives here toward the end of the video, but I have put this thing through its paces. I have tried to break it in every conceivable way, form, or fashion. I have built it and rebuilt it and rebuilt it again just to make sure I knew what the hell I was talking about. And I'm in a place, a warm, centered place within my soul when it comes to UNRAID. And like I said, very well written, very well done. It's well worth the money that they're asking for UNRAID. UNRAID has just got that little edge to it. Well, I've babbled on enough about UNRAID. Let me show you what we've gone through to get this thing from the beginning, middle, and to the final end of our build. And I do ask that you pardon my appearance today. I'm dealing with, you can tell I'm very nasally today. I'm dealing with allergies. My eyes, look at my eyes, are just like watering all over the place. And, you know, I just forgot to take my allergy pills, so bad on me. But I have coffee, so I guess that'll fix it. But anyway, so let's talk about the iterations I've gone through with this UNRAID. So initially when I started my UNRAID array, and when I say my array, I'm talking about the disks I used in it. I initially started with 1 terabyte drives, and then I changed those out and put the 2 terabyte drives in. I just wanted to get a feel for how hard or easy it was to create an UNRAID array and swap out disks. Well, then I decided to go whole hog. I almost filled up that entire array of 2 terabyte drives, and then I started replacing them just to see what that experience was like. And it was nerve-wracking, especially with the drives I've got. These are old drives. These drives are 4 years old or older, most of them, the 2 terabytes. So I nearly filled them to capacity, and then I decided to take a 4 terabyte drive and put it in to replace the 2 terabyte parity drive. I wanted to see how long that took and if there were any problems. I let it run overnight, because it took about 24 hours to rebuild the parity. No problem at all. And so the next day I started replacing the other 2 terabyte drives with another 4 terabyte data drive, and then 2 more 3 terabyte data drives. And I did them in sequence, all the while moving the equipment around into the new cases, as you have seen. So the case we finally ended up with is that Thermaltake case right there, the black one right there, right above the Dell. What is that? Is that a Dell? It's got a big hole in it. Anyway, so there's our final UNRAID build, as you can see. And then the other thing I want to talk about is this. Yeah, you remember me singing this thing's praises. This is that Mediasonic drive housing, right? Device bay, 3.5-inch device bay. Well, yeah, initially I loved it, as I usually do with a lot of stuff. And this thing, let me tell you, it's heavy. It's built like a tank. It's all metal construction. But it's got some issues. One is the front LEDs. It's got a bunch of LEDs on the front. Power, trouble, fan warning, whatever. And then it has indicator LEDs for each one of the drives, because I like to be able to look over to my rack or look back on my workstation and see if there's any disk activity. This was hit or miss. It was really odd, because one Seagate hard drive would light the indicator, and then you'd put a Western Digital into that tray and into another tray, and it wouldn't light up, and then you'd move the drives around, and some lights would come on, some wouldn't. And it was past the 30-day return to Amazon, so I'm going to reach out to Mediasonic, and I'm going to contact them and see if they want me to send this back to them, whether it needs to be repaired or whether it's an issue. But I've done my research. I couldn't find any issues with this, because I really want to like this. The other thing I don't like about this is these drive trays, while they're metal, they, on the underside of them, they have kind of sharp edges on them. So if you've got, be careful with your fingers on them. And the metal nearly comes into contact with the circuit board on the underside of the drive. So other than that, though, this thing was really well built. I mean, it's a tank. It's heavy just holding it here in my hands. But I ended up changing that out for this one. Yeah, my old handy-dandy trusty Rosewell internal drive bay. This thing is, and it doesn't give you a good indication. Well, I guess it does. This thing is a tank. It's plastic. It's not as heavy as, or is seemingly well built as the other one, and there's no locking mechanism. But I like the way the trays. I like the way the drives mount the trays in this. It'll hold 3.5 or 2.5-inch hard drives. They're hot swappable if your BIOS supports it. I've got 2 of these now. I bought one of these for that 4U server months back, and it's been everything from a home NAS to whatever. But I like this drive housing. It was a little bit cheaper than that one too. I think this is $50 on Amazon for this Rosewell, and I've had really good luck with it. So there you go. Your mileage might vary, but I had really good luck with them. Now, the other thing is that thermal take case. And while it's a good case, I'm very happy with it for what I paid for it, 40 or 50 bucks. It is very cheap. I mean, the metal is very thin. I didn't run into any sharp edges or anything like that. They curl everything under. But the gauge of metal they use, the thickness, is just... That Alaska case that it came out of is twice the thickness of metal as that thermal take. And I understand why they're doing it. It lowers shipping costs and, blah, blah, blah. It's cheaper to make. But for crying out loud, folks, if you look at this thing the wrong way, you could put a dent in it. So be careful with it. You can't fling it around like a heavier made case. But you get what you pay for, and for 40 or 50 bucks, all that stuff fit in there just fine. So I'm not complaining about, just warning you, you get what you pay for, and that came with no power supply for that price either. All right, so here she is, up and running, UNRAID Beast. You can see it's still got that gigabyte motherboard in there. 4 cores, 8 threads, Intel i7-3770. It's got a gigabit NIC card in it. Yada yada. We've got Mac in a Box, NetData Plex. I've been playing around with CentOS, Mac in a Box High Sierra, and Mac in a Box Mojave. I've got my shares all done. I've got my disks are all in good shape, except for disk 3. It's running a little hot. So if you come here and look at the drives, you can see that I've taken the drives that were in my old media center and I've transferred them into UNRAID. So we have 2 of the 4 terabytes and 2 of the 3 terabytes. All of these are the 2 3 terabyte drives were donated a few months ago by a subscriber. So thank you again for that. They're all in good shape. They are running a little hot. As cheap as 4 terabyte drives are getting now, spinning drives. I may replace those 2 3 terabyte drives in there. But I have more storage than I will ever use in the next year, even. Although I am working on an archival project for myself, so I may be gobbling up some of that space. But as far as spinning Rust goes now, good God, folks, I've got a ton of storage space. I've got 10 terabyte here. I've got another 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 terabyte in my Dell, and I have, I think, 8 terabyte in my Synology NAS. So I'm good on hard drive space. Now the trick is to get really fast SSD storage, but I'm going to wait till the prices come down a little bit more. But there you go. I've got some shares on here. I've got some Docker applications. I got some VMs on there. Everything is working fine. Again, I was going to try to do this with my Ryzen 5 1600, but the one thing the Ryzen 5 1600 does not have that this does is built-in video. So I can devote both of my NVIDIA and my AMD video card to virtual machines while leaving the internal video card that is built into that i7 chip for UNRAID. So there you go, YouTube. My obsession with UNRAID continues, and I doubt it will be satiated at any time. I got a lot of plans for that. The fact that I could just I can set it on the workbench and run Windows on it, or I could run Mac OS 10 on it, or Linux for that matter, and have it as a workstation, not only as a NAS, but as a workstation. It's a win-win for me. And then, of course, we'll be experimenting with things like Plex and MB on it and that kind of thing. But baby steps, right? First, I had to get it into a case that I could sit on that workbench and be in love with. So I've done that now. We're there. We've arrived, YouTube, finally. So there you go, YouTube. We hope you found the video entertaining and informative. Give us a thumbs up down below if you liked the video. Leave your comments down in the comments section. We take PayPal and Patreon if you're so inclined. Also, check us out on BitChute, where also our content gets mirrored. Everything we put on YouTube eventually appears on BitChute as well. So if BitChute's more your style, go check it out. The link's down below in the description of this video. And don't forget, we're going to have some exclusive content coming in January on BitChute. So stuff you won't be able to get on YouTube. We're just trying a little experiment here to see if we can't. We're trying to increase the number of subscribers we have over on BitChute as well. So come join us over there if you have a free moment. And please don't forget that we will see you on the other side.